So this hit me pretty hard. Comparison is the thief of joy. Have you ever experienced that?
Pretty much every day. If you get on Facebook or Instagram and look at your friends and what they have and what their dog looks like and that their hair is so shiny. I mean, I think everybody is...
Hold on. Their hair is so shiny?
Yeah, you know.
That's what you think about?
If you're a girl, yes, you do.
I guess I do wonder if I could have more hair.
See, I'm telling you, it's easy. It's bad, but it's easy to get caught up in wanting what other people have, and you compare yourself and think you're not good enough. We're all guilty of it.
Okay, well, I'm going to say we're going to let it go today. When the going gets rough, you know how the saying goes. Sometimes things happen. Life happens, and it's not always our fault. In this podcast, we'll feature real-life testimonials from people like you, from good times to bad, funny memories, and hard lessons learned. Everyone has a story, and everyone has been there. From business owners to parents to young adults, the High Five aims to tell stories of overcoming the struggles of adulting while celebrating the little victories of life. In each podcast, our guests will give insight to 5 key takeaways from someone who's been there and done that, leaving you better than when you started. Hey guys, thanks for listening today. My name is Kagan with BriteBee.
And this is Catherine with BriteBee.
And today on the High Five, we have Jill Berger, the founder of Stay Social Dallas and Lushra.
We are also excited that Jill will be the first interview in a new series of interviews for young professionals.
Dun, da, da. Jill, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for reaching out, Catherine.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to talk to you more and learn more about Stay Social Dallas and Lushra. Can't believe that you have 2 businesses at the age that you are. How old are you, Jill?
Can we ask that?
Yeah, that's true.
No? Well, I'm turning 26. I'm turning 26, on the 20th of this month. So I'm very excited.
Nice. How exciting. Let's talk a little bit about Stay Social and Lushra. Tell us a little bit about which one started first and how you got to the place you're at now.
Yeah, so Stay Social Dallas started first. I was at a full service traditional advertising agency, and it really pushed me in a way that I needed to start my own thing because it wasn't challenging me the right way. It was a small traditional agency, so they didn't really want to push the envelope. They didn't see the necessary need to do so with our clients. So I really saw an opportunity that I could talk to small business owners and, really talk about the importance of social media and digital advertising that not necessarily the other agencies really saw so much of an importance of.
Very cool. And you went to school for marketing.
I did. I went to school for marketing and management at Texas Tech. So that really kind of pushed me into the advertising world.
Jill, you said push the envelope. What does that actually mean? Because that could mean a lot of things for people.
Push the envelope in a way where I wanted to do the new thing and do things different for our clients and do something creative and out of the box. And, when you're at a traditional agency and you're with, principals that are older and they don't necessarily see what's going on in the digital world because they're not living it, they're not breathing it, they don't understand the need to do so and to be different. And you really have to do something creative to reach your audience and surpass your competitors. So it really pushed me in a way that I saw a need of, having a millennial company reach out to millennials that older people really couldn't do the same.
Okay, so you know that this is what you need to do. How did you go do it?
So I started knocking on doors, started walking into restaurants, started pitching myself. I actually took a class. It was a 5-month program at SMU, and it taught me how to communicate return on investment of social media to small business owners that just, didn't want to think about social media, knew they needed to do it, but they didn't have time. As a small business owner, you really don't have time to do a lot. So for me to be able to concisely communicate what is social media, why do you need to be on it, this is what I can do for you, and this is how it's going to grow your business. So once I was able to communicate that to people who, they can't afford a huge agency, they can't afford a Richards Group or, something like that, they work with me instead. And I'm on the ground doing the work and communicating the return, and they see that. So, that's how it all kind of started.
So how many no's did you get before you got a yes?
Oh man. Well, I was very lucky in a way. I was so passionate at first. I was sharing my story with a lot of people, and they could catch on to my passion of why I was doing my own thing and why I was so passionate about it that they wanted to hop on board with me. So I was lucky that I knew some entrepreneurs that needed help with their business, and that's kind of where I started, of helping my friends that were entrepreneurs and people that I met in the industry of, okay, well, you can do this. And I wasn't able to get money right away. I was like, I can do this for free. And if you don't see a return, then that's fine. Like, keep going and I'll keep going my way. And I started taking actually a percentage of sales of one of my first clients. And instead of having a retainer, which is what normal marketing companies do, they just keep a retainer of their services. So I started doing a percentage of increase of sales that they would receive, and it became so much they needed to put me on a retainer. And once I had that like aha moment of, okay, this works and I know what I'm doing, it really gave me the confidence then to reach out to people I didn't necessarily know, and to go to other businesses and give them my case studies and proof of what I had been doing for other businesses in Dallas.
That's so cool. And what a sacrifice like that you had to make to say like, okay, you don't even have to pay me. Just let me prove myself. Because that's a pretty big, that's a bold statement.
I had nothing to lose.
Catherine, what are your thoughts right now to a marketer? I mean, what are you thinking right now?
Oh, I've got a lot of questions. I'm just, and one of them, you're focused mostly on digital, and digital, as we know, is constantly changing. So I'm just curious, like, how you keep up with those trends and fight that ever constant battle.
Oh, yes. It's definitely a challenge. And, it is a battle for marketers, as there's so many new platforms and trends. Is this going to be a fad? Is this something I need to be paying attention to? Do I need to use this strategy for my clients? So luckily for us, we have the internet. So it's a beautiful thing. And like with any industry, there's industry leaders that you should keep up to. So a few of my favorites are Social Media Examiner, Digiday, Social Media Pros with Jill Berger and Adam Brown, and also Later for Instagram has a really good blog as well to, just kind of give you the trends, and they sift through a lot of that junk for you. So in the morning, it's like you skim the news. You also have to skim and read about updates. What's Google been doing? How do you utilize the new updates of Instagram story? And those blogs will do that for you as well.
So just to give our listeners a glimpse into some of those words and companies that you're throwing out, are these things that people should feel like they can go out and research and do themselves, or do they have to have a marketing or advertising professional to accomplish these kinds of things?
I would say definitely having a marketing background helps, but it's definitely not necessary. The internet is amazing. There's so many books, there's so many podcasts, there's so many blogs you can read. And if you're truly fascinated about something, you can get lost on the internet, and Google is king. You can find everything that you need to learn.
I completely agree with that. And there's so many things that I, as a marketer, don't know how to do. And even Kagan, with no marketing background, we just research stuff and we find out so many cool things. And Google, like you said, Google is king. I want to talk real quick before we go into the 5 key takeaways. I want to talk about Lushra, because that was your second business, right?
It was, yeah.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that one.
So it all started when all my friends were starting to have bachelorette parties and baby showers, and going off social media and Instagram has really changed the way we take photos, and we capture these life moments and we save them. And each party you go to, there has to be a backdrop. There has to be one Instagrammable spot. And at every place you go, okay, this is Instagrammable. And it just has changed the game. So I wanted to create product that I could use and, send off to Amazon and have an e-commerce platform of party decor that really makes or breaks your Instagram, that people want, because they want that beautiful Instagram and they want that great social media picture of everyone to see what a beautiful event that they had. So I focus on balloons and baby showers and bachelorette parties and backdrops and all that good stuff.
You are just taking advantage of any opportunity that you see.
Absolutely.
That's what we got to do, right?
Well, I've seen some of the balloons and it made me want to buy balloons. So you accomplished your goal.
Thank you very much.
So that gets us into our first high five key takeaway. Don't wait for opportunity, create it. Tell us why that's one of your takeaways.
Well, I was very unhappy in my job and I was almost waiting for something to happen to me to, have something, have a raise or get a promotion or get a new project to fulfill me. And it never came. And so I had to go out and create it. And I just think that's such an important takeaway is to create your own opportunity. And if you're not happy, then to make the change yourself.
Jill, one day I was sitting at an employer's desk and I had this thought. I was like, I am waiting every 90 days for a review for someone to tell me how I'm doing, how well I'm doing, and what my value is. And finally, I was tired of it. I was like, I don't want to live this way anymore. I don't want to live thinking that I got to wait for the next review or the next promotion to really know my value.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into that second takeaway. Starting a business isn't easy. Learn grit, resilience in all you do.
Yeah, so starting a business is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. There's lots of obstacles, and how you handle those obstacles is what defines you, not necessarily the obstacle itself. So, for example, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but we had a client that fired us, and instead of being so upset and, focusing on, the client and that we were fired, it's what you're going to do with that after and how you're going to deal with it. Are you going to let that one client define you, or are you going to grow from that? And are you going to not let that set you back?
I think that is very true. And you kind of have to be thick-skinned as an entrepreneur, or if you work in a startup. Kagan and I talk all the time about how no is not a bad thing. There's opportunities in every yes and every no. And just when people turn you down, that's not always a bad thing. So resilience in that as well.
It's about, moving forward and growing and not letting one little setback define you. It's about focusing on your long-term goals and focusing on that to get you through and, continuing to grow through that.
I think that's great. Well, takeaway number 3 is something that we hear pretty often in the startup world. So go ahead and share that one with us.
Third one is strive for progress, not perfection. Success does not happen overnight. And this is something that I've always struggled with. I'm a perfectionist, and I didn't used to be, which is so crazy to me because I didn't used to be a perfectionist. And I think a lot of times it's easy, especially in the world of social media, when you see what everyone's doing, you compare yourself to that. And I think that kind of goes in my fourth point, where comparison is the thief of joy. You are you, and that is your power. So I recently heard a podcast, and that phrase, you are you, and that is your power, really, really resonated with me. I think everyone should recite that to themselves in the morning, but it's a great goal, not only for companies, but individuals to have, just to know that you're different and that's what defines you and that's what sets you apart from others, and not focusing on what other people are doing or what other companies are doing, but really focusing on yourself and your assets that you bring.
I want to go back to what you said about success does not happen overnight. Because we actually saw something online the other day, and it was talking about Airbnb's overnight success actually took, like 1,300 days or something. So, basically, everybody knows success doesn't happen overnight, even though it can kind of seem like it. So what would you say about your overnight success? How long did that overnight actually take you?
Well, we're still in the night. It's still not over. It definitely takes a long time. And I think it's also very hard when you compare yourselves to companies that are way more progressed than you are to see, okay, well, their success happens so much quicker than mine. It's a long time. And I think even defining success is, okay, so Airbnb is successful, but now what? They probably still have so much that they want to grow into and change about their company. So what defines success, and how are you going to say all of a sudden you're successful? It's a progress.
Jill, do you ever struggle with the the thought of, well, I'll tell you my struggle, and maybe you can then answer yes or no to it. So my struggle is this, that I have problems, all capitalized problems, of actually celebrating the victories. I get to that victory and I'm like, yes, we won. Okay, moving on. Next thing. Like we're not done. Do you ever struggle with celebrating the victories?
I do, 100%. I'm so big pictured that it is hard for me to take a step back. And a lot of times it takes other people to bring it to my attention of, wow, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations for what? And they'll say, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I actually really should, give myself a pat on the back because I completed that. But I'm so, and I think a lot of people are so focused on the end result that they forget about, the small victories and the process of building a brand and, creating something new, that they kind of forget to stop and celebrate the small things and really enjoy the process of getting to where you're going.
Okay, so let's talk about your last takeaway, Jill.
So my last takeaway, which we kind of briefly touched about, is entrepreneurship is a journey, not a destination, and enjoy the ride. Like I said, celebrate the small victories, give yourself a pat on the back for all your small goals, enjoy the process of what it takes to be an entrepreneur and starting something for yourself and starting a brand and doing your own thing.
So where do you see yourself in marketing, advertising in the next 10 years?
I think that obviously digital is going to be, it's not even going to be a conversation of, well, do we need to be in this digital field or do we need to have this? I think traditional advertising is going to completely go out the window. I think there's going to be no TV commercials. I think it's all going to be mobile. I think apps are going to have a huge presence, and really lifetime experiences and that one-on-one direct relationship with the consumer. I think that's where marketing is going to go.
And what would you say to businesses who are struggling to get ahead? What would you say they need to start preparing for in the changes in the marketing world?
It's really hard to predict the trends when technology is ever changing, but making sure that you're staying up to date with the current trends, watching your competitors, listening to feedback from your consumers, paying attention to social media posts that you do, what's working and what's not, really listening to what people are saying about your brand helps you grow with all your marketing challenges.
I want to go off on a little side note for just a second, because you're focused all on social media. And one of the trends in my mind that has just exploded over the past couple of years is influencer marketing. And I want to hear your take on that. And if you practice that with Stay Social Dallas.
She's going to start sending us a bill.
No. She probably should.
So yeah, influencer marketing, I am a fan. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I think it's a great way for brands to connect with consumers. And I think influencers as well do a really great job at being real with their audience, which is why influencer marketing works, is they're not saying yes to all the brands that, want to send them a gimmick. They're working on their platform. And I think that's why influencer marketing works, is because it's from a trusted source. So instead of just listening to an advertising or saying this really works on TV, they're actually going to someone that they follow their day to day and they know, okay, if they're telling me to go try this or if they're doing this, it must be cool. So I think influencer marketing is very cool. I'm all for it. I tell brands, yes, yes, yes to bloggers, yes to everything.
Well, let me just talk about my weakness for a moment with a blogger that I follow.
Ooh, dramatic piano.
Yes, dramatic piano. We all know about the incel that just happened, and I was on the fence about a couple of items, and then I saw the blogger that I follow, and she was buying those same items, and within less than 250 seconds, I spent $250 because that solidified, yes, I need that because they told me that I need it.
I mean, I'm guilty of doing it too, but I mean, that just goes to show how powerful they are.
So Jill, what is the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to learn more about what you do, about the Stay Social Dallas or Lushra? What is the best way?
Well, you can go to our Instagrams, our websites. We're at www.staysocialdallas.com, and we're also lushra.com. And our social media handles are Stay Social Dallas and Lushra.
That is awesome. Well, we want to thank you again for being on. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Please don't send us a bill yet.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Well, we want to make sure that everyone subscribes to this podcast and gives us a review on what you thought of Jill and our conversation today. It was fantastic. Also, don't forget, if you are looking for insurance quotes that don't sting, try out BriteBee.com. Click Get a Quote, and you'll find insurance agents that are qualified, that are under your control, and you will find exactly what you need. Guys, we really appreciate you listening, and have a wonderful day.